Hello, my name is Diana Melgarejo, and I will be presenting a topic concerning the rise of freemium games and the effects they have on the modern-day public. Freemium games are defined as video games that are typically free to obtain or download but cost real-world currency to play. They constantly tempt the player to spend money in order to purchase in-game collectibles, upgrades, or more levels. For example, King's top-grossing title Candy Crush has players lured by the appealing graphics and can pay for more lives, or wait for 30 minutes before they may start again, according to Mia Shanley from Business Insider. Yet, no matter how much money people spend on these free-to-play games, players are constantly pressured to shell out more, else not be able to play at all. This characterizes the plethora of problems with the emerging concept of free-to-play games and their abundant microtransactions, which have had a destructive impact on the games industry and the players these games are tailored to. Issues have arisen in the form of bad game design, corporate greed, and addiction. Number 1. Bad gameplay and design. To start off, successful freemium games, such as Clash of Clans, have given precedent to bad game design aspects being the norm for these titles. Freemium games are typically characterized as having a set formula containing, but not limited to, restrictive gameplay, lack of challenges, elusive game manipulation, and most importantly, a free-to-play but pay-to-win business model. In a YouTube video by the game theorist, host Matthew Patrick elaborates on how freemium titles usually begin with the player rushing through its beginner levels and then slowing the pace of the game to a halt. The game either forces the player to wait until they can play again or make the game too difficult for the player to progress at all. Thus, the player is pressured into spending money in order to even play what is supposed to be a casual game. This is used to create the appearance of challenge when in fact there is none. The aforementioned aspect of bad game design is destructive for games, as Daniel Croman from GammaSutra.com explains. They can limit the player's ability to get engaged in the game and have fun. Furthermore, Will Fulton describes how developers may manipulate the gameplay itself in order to achieve desired results. He states, "We will flat out adjust a game to make it behave just like it did the last time the person bought IAP, or in-app purchase. Was the level too hard? Well, now they are all that same difficulty." Developers are not focused on making gameplay better for their games, but instead ensure their players follow the pay-to-win model. As a result, the game plays the gamer rather than the other way around. However, due to the model's monetary success, more and more developers have been following this freemium model for mobile games, making this unoriginal model more prevalent throughout the industry. Number 2. Corporate greed. Due to how the freemium model works, most titles tend to see greater economic success faster than titles developed by creators who are looking to make a higher quality game. Back to the example of Candy Crush, Mia Shanley emphasizes that, though the company does not publish numbers, industry experts have estimated its revenues at $1 million to $3 million a day. For a game that is free to play, gamers are spending a lot of money in order to win at a game that has little to offer in comparison to a higher quality game. Furthermore, since freemium games are obtaining greater economic results, game developers are becoming discouraged in making good games by the companies that fund them. Will Fulton from DigitalTrends.com explains that the same data that was once used to maximize fun is now being used to maximize profitability. Fulton then goes on to describe an anonymous developer whose personal experiences working under various mobile gaming companies led to an observation on how the sole focus is to maximize profits using any means necessary. Fulton writes, "The most troubling revelation of the story is how much personal data developers skim about their players and then use to target them for in-app purchases. In order for corporations to get people invested in their games, they violate users' privacy and then use that personal information to offer players whatever they will be inclined to purchase. Whether that be changing the game's interface to reflect something a player likes, what is known as a skin, or making an event occur just as a player has time to relax, premium gaming companies have little regard for respecting their players in exchange for profit." Number 3. Addiction. In addition, not only is this type of game hurting the game industry and its players, but it is made to do so on purpose. The freemium model is meant to be as addicting as possible in order for players to spend money in small increments and neglect the overall expenditure. According to SiteGuides.com, one of the most important aspects that make freemium games addicting is how accessible they are to the population. Since they are played on smartphones and marketed as free, anyone can quickly download them and start playing right away with no cost to them. In addition, the quick, simple gameplay allows for the player to play quick rounds whenever they have the time. Another factor that creates addicting behavior can be found in the unpredictability of the games themselves. Unpredictability keeps people playing for the off chance they obtain whatever they are looking for, not unlike gamblers at slot machines. Nonetheless, this problem continues to harm the players as nothing is being done to fix it. Jack Hallman from Medium.com explains how one of the biggest problems around freemium game addiction is people don't see it as something you get addicted to or that could have consequences, when it is in fact very similar to a gambling addiction but is actually encouraged to use. This means that freemium games continue to hide under the guise of just an ordinary game while targeting all sorts of different people, even children, psychologically. Because of this, many people have lost a lot of money and ruined their lives simply because they never realized how addictive they were to the game they were playing. Mike Rose from GammaSutra.com depicts this very problem as he tells the story of a 20-year-old man named Chris, who completely wiped his bank savings account chasing the pay-to-win model on a free-to-play game. It goes to show that this model of game can be very destructive to its players, similar to what society may already consider unacceptable in other activities, such as gambling and drug use. Overall, this new business model is destroying games and the people that play them, yet it has the potential to be implemented in a way that can be better for everyone. Some games are already doing so as they use the funds they make to keep the games running smoothly or to provide their players with extra content for their enjoyment. This is the way the free-to-play model should be implemented, a way in which gameplay remains balanced and players have the choice to purchase upgrades if they choose. Games are meant to be enjoyed, and players should not have to be tricked or manipulated into spending money they do not have by greedy corporations. In short, freemium games have only been around for a very short amount of time, yet they still have a long way to go in terms of development for the good of its players. Thank you very much.